if I give you
Okay, on this side it says the meeting is being recorded. So I just hit got it. I hit got it. Okay.
We've got it. We've got it.
How
We're all
far
there.
You're being recorded.
We can edit this bit. It's all good. Good morning, Kate. How are you?
I'm so well.
Smile.
Good morning, Brandon. How are you?
Absolutely fabulous, darling.
We can hear you say smile, smile. It's I'm still giggling because you two just described yourself as the Laurel and Hardy of the quilt world, which has tickled me this morning. Kay, thank you for joining me this morning, and you as well, Brandon. Brandon is doing technical things.
Yeah.
So we might hear him dip in and out. But
right.
Kay, we are here because you have brought out, I'm going to say your 23rd. Is it 23rd? Is it really 23rd? Your 23rd Quilts in book.
Yeah, I guess so. You know what? I never keep track of numbers. I'm very dyslexic that way. I can't remember what date it is or anything. So, you say 23.
Yeah. As usual, this book, the 23rd in the series, includes a range of quilts for all skill levels.
What's nice is that we've been to so many locations on those 20 odd books, and I, when I think of those books, I think of these wonderful, like a little fishing village in Italy, or Port Marion in Wales, and all these different places that we've gone to photograph.
But I think in Morocco is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, love those. Yeah, I think probably this one, all of us agreed, was one of the sharpest locations, where we had this wonderful town and we just stayed within the precincts of Lavenham, the wonderful
let's
village.
tell everyone where you went, because this was a lockdown book. This was a book created during lockdown, so it meant that you couldn't travel abroad. And I'm so glad that you've done one in the UK. I mean, I've been trying to get you to do one around the graffiti around Birmingham, which still hasn't happened.
Well, it's a great idea, because I love the chaos of wonderful painted walls, and so we might do that one day. That would be fun.
I'm just throwing it out there.
What made me pick this wonderful town in England was because I grew up in America, where the style of the moment was, if you see an interesting old building, tear it down and build something new and modern and bland. And so I grew up in the land of bland, modern architecture without much flavor.
Apart from your own home.
Yes, I'm talking about, California. Well, I mean, my own home. We lived in a very unique place because, I was brought up in a log house, which was this amazing building that was built in the 1920s. Of logs, and it was very rustic and wild place. But my parents built onto that a very modern, extremely modern architectural feat, which was this amazing restaurant, which actually was quite beautiful because it had very rustic lines and things, but it was just an amazing place, and great big concrete bleachers that you could sit on. So it was like a bit of the pyramids were brought into this structure. But when I came to, but most of America though was very beige and very bland. And so when I came to Europe, I loved the sense of the old, and that what I loved mostly was that the artisans, the architectural builders of the old times had a wonderful sense of aesthetic, and they built things with feeling and passion and a human scale. And particularly the period of Lavenham, which is kind of Tudor period, where these wonderful half-timbered buildings were not only gorgeous structures, absolutely beautiful shapes, but wonderful colors. That town has a sense of color that is just takes your breath away.
Well,
and of course, I'm a color person, so
yeah.
I'm so into colored backgrounds, and that's why I chose that amazing town of all the places in the British Isles to
Because I
photograph.
remember asking you when you came to the UK, what was one of the things that you loved about it, because you know the assumption is that you would miss the weather from California, but I remember you saying that it was the tones that the mist and our sort of watery environment turned the colors, that the lavender colors, that it turns things. And actually reading your book, it hadn't occurred to me that of course Lavenham was a very prosperous wool-based town. It's on the east coast of the UK, for anyone that's not in the UK and doesn't know, or for me who's dreadful at geography. But I hadn't twigged, and thank you for pointing it out, that it then, when the prosperity went, that's kind of why it's maintained beauty, because it hasn't been updated. So they are architecturally stunning, and those beautiful beams, which are just a thing to behold in all sorts of directions. Insurance must be a nightmare, but just stunning. And when did you first go to Lavenham? When did you first discover it?
When I first learned to knit, which is
really
so interesting, because I learned to knit, and I was making knitting patterns, and I was dreaming of what else I could do. You know, where in the world was I going to find inspiration? And suddenly someone took me to Lavenham, and I was like walking through the town saying, oh, imagine the knitting patterns made, you know, to look like the structures of this town, and all these wonderful colors. And someone just turned to me and said, you know, there's something else in the world besides knitting. Can't you look at anything but through the eyes of a knitter? But, you know, isn't that interesting? And there was where wool was what built that town.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And so what I love about UK is that you don't forget places and color inspirations. And what I also love is that I see your patterns from your knitwear brought through into your quilts. Absolutely stunning. Your tumbling block that you've got in this book, beautiful. And I've seen it in knitwear, and it's an absolute classic. And I love that you bring these patterns to us looking so different in such different colorways. Just stunning, just stunning.
Well, they're just such classic old patterns, aren't they? You know, tumbling blocks was one thing that came into my consciousness very strongly when I first came to England, because I would see pathways up to people's houses and through their gardens that were done in tumbling block tiles. And so it became a pattern that fascinated me, because I love patterns anyway.
But, and there it is. The earthy tones in this book are beautiful. There's a beautiful mix with the quilts for me of earthy tones, a richness, but also in there are a few with more pastel tones that fit the more bleached colors of the walls. Was that a conscious decision?
Yes, absolutely. I thought about that town the whole time that we were making and designing quilts. And I was thinking, you know, if I have a yellowish quilt, because I know that there's some beautiful lime green and pale pink and yellow buildings, you know, that will be beautiful with a kind of golden palette. And then, you know, there was lots of other inspirations, but, you know, and then, you know, there are some buildings with stone. And so, you know, the more earthy thing. And also I knew that there was these gorgeous rusts and those kind of deep earthy tones, as you say. Like the quilt behind me was, you know, we put against a wonderful kind of chestnut colored wall. And this was designed by taking my shot cottons and stripes, because I went to see Little Women. You know that film?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was one of my favorite books. Here we go.
And they had a wonderful stylist on that film, so that the costumes and the bits of embroidery and the details in the set were just wonderful. And there was one patchwork quilt that was done just like this. It was a diagonal of stripes. I think they were piece stripes, and solids. And I just thought, it's so strong and graphic. And so I came home and I took my wonderful stripes that we create as striped fabrics. And there's the range.
Are these out now?
Yeah, these are out now. These are the wonderful collection that we've been working with for the past year.
New colors.
And so I combined those with my shot cottons and created this wonderful graphic story.
They're new colors.
These are new colors that were brought in the beginning of last year.
They are absolutely stunning. For anybody that hasn't worked with your shot cottons and your stripes, so these are such beautiful woven fabrics. They are absolutely stunning, and kind of where you started, isn't it, with a woven, trying to work out how to get colors with wovens.
That's totally what got me into doing patchwork. As you know, going out to India and working, Brandon and I went out there and we found this little village that did weaving, and they were so primitive that they didn't even, they had like dirt, they would just dig out a hole in the ground and build a house on top of it. And they had these pit looms where they would sit, and the loom would just come to their chest, and the little, made out of sticks, and they would weave these gorgeous fabrics with, very few mod cons. And it was so extraordinary to give them a project. I just gave them a big sheet of knitting with all different stripes on it, and they created a different stripe for each section. And that collection was what put us on the map. And
well, it won you the Houston market, didn't it? It won you.
That's right.
It won you that. But also more than that, because like you say, when you found this little town or village, it was very primitive, and it still makes me laugh that you had to pick the colors by electric light, which is like a big no-no, because it took you so long to get there.
Yes.
How did you find the village?
Because of it, that village now has electricity. They now don't have to down tools every time it rains, because actually they've been able to build proper buildings. That means
concrete floors.
So you've made an amazing difference with your fabrics in so many ways.
I mean, it was just extraordinary because they did such a beautiful job of weaving those fabrics. And I had a brilliant technician arrived who was Indian as well. And he knew about, working with different color warps and wefts. And so, we would take a series of stripes and we would just change the warp going across our stripes. And it went from brilliant jewel-like reds to cold blues to very pale pastels, just by changing what went across these stripes. And that was such a lesson to me. I mean, I learned more from that trip than anything else. But of course, those stripes then put us on the map of the world of patchwork.
Did it take you long to work out because your brain works in amazing ways with color. Did it take you long to work out how that mix would happen? What you would get when you changed that warp?
I didn't understand it until I saw it happening before my eyes. He would say, now take this scarlet red and put that across instead of white or instead of black or whatever. And each time we changed, the colors just emerged in a totally different mood.
It's absolutely stunning. And that's why I still, your shot cottons and your stripes are some of my favorites. And they just, they feel so amazing as well.
Yeah.
There's a
And
softness to
isn't
them.
it wonderful that that same village is still making these wonderful stripes for us?
Still to
at
this
the moment in
day.
time?
It mixed very well. The weight of the fabric mixed very well with the KFC.
Yes, I mean, what we love, of course, is to combine the shot cottons and the new stripes with all of our prints. You know, we've made it them to be the same weight so that they go together very well.
Oh, they really do. And you can see that throughout the book as well, that mixing through. And of course, traditionally quilts would be made with all sorts of different weights and textures anyway, because it would be what they could lay their hands on. But I love that mix of texture and style of fabric. It really sings for me. But that quilt behind you is absolutely just stunning.
Yeah. And what have we got on the back? Oh, Brandon's dot flower.
Now, hang on. The dot flower with the octopus in orange is just genius. I absolutely adore it. How much fun is that? Just how much fun?
And what's nice is that Brandon's Mad Plaid, which is binding on this, is just such a gorgeous. It looks like little cross stitch.
It does. It looks like hearts all the way around.
It's what?
Little crosses, little kisses all the way around.
Yeah, exactly. It's just wonderful.
Well, it's made with love, right?
Yeah, well, damn. Yeah.
We go to a location, do a recce, then come back and design the quilts.
Yeah, I mean, what Brandon's just reminding me is that what we try to do is to go and find a location and get the mood of that into our heads. You know, we walk around this place dreaming of the quilts that could go in that location.
So with lockdown, were you able to do that prior to the shoot?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because of course I knew Lavenham.
Yeah.
And then we went and did this recce and walked around and took snaps of all the different buildings and sent that to a couple of the quilt makers that were helping me on the book. And then as well as, you know, having that reminder very graphically in my head as we created these quilts.
So let's go through these quilts because they are really beautiful. So there are some new ones, there are some revisited, which is absolutely good. Well, I mean, first of all, so the photography is Debbie Patterson, who is rather fabulous, and there's you two just, you know, having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Debbie, as I have mentioned before, is a mother of boys, so manages to corral you two, whilst also getting the job done. Here we are. Now this one here, that is your trip around the snowball.
Oh yes, right.
And that is, when I first looked at it, I looked at this page here. But when you look at it on that page there, you get such a different effect from standing back. Oh, can you not see which one it is?
No,
I can't.
Okay.
I'm not able to see what you're looking at.
Right. So your trip around, if you got the book there, okay?
Yeah, I do.
There we go. We can match pages. We got this. It's the very first quilt in there. We'll go methodically through. There we go. Page 8.
Yeah.
There you go.
This was an idea from an Australian quilt that I saw. But it was fun. Just, you know, I think people will have a good time playing with a snowball idea. I mean, it's one of my favorite forms in quilt making. I use it over and over and over and over. As anybody following my career will know, that I come back to the snowball constantly.
One of my favorites of yours is the stripes, where you used your stripes and some of the jumbles in the corner.
Right.
Snowball, that quilt, I absolutely adore that one. That's one of my favorite, and I will make it. It's on my list. But it's that secondary pattern that I absolutely adore with that one. When you stand back, just unlooked for.
Well, that's I think that, you know, people will have fun, you know, creating that huge pattern, huge profile.
And the beautiful thing sorry, the beautiful thing for anybody that hasn't ever had one of your books before is that you get all of the patterns in the back. So you get a kind of a coffee table, stunning photography in the first half, and then all of the how-tos and the patterns in the back. Look at that architecture.
Yeah. I mean, that's what those wonderful lines and the crazy kookiness of that only comes with age.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
You know, people that try to imitate that nowadays just never get it right.
Yeah, they just get too straight. I think that's the trouble.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and they'll never have all the drafts and everything else that go with lovely wonky walls. Now this, the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, I adore
See,
this.
I did this thinking about the beautiful silvered wood and stone walls that you would find in Lavenham. So it's all just very subtle kind of silvery grays, which I love. And it was really fun finding the most delicate kind of pastel shades to go with this.
And then backed with the agate is just
the agate on the back, which is just this wonderful kind of organic shape and shades of pink and gray.
I think you managed to put 3 different shades of your Millie Fury in there.
Yeah.
I know, because I'm trying to source them all, going, I've got 2.
Right.
Where's the 3rd? Come on. And how do you, I mean, for those people that are buying this, do you feel strongly that they need to go absolutely as you have, or are you happy for people to interpret and pop in a different color? Or
totally. I mean, you know, that's a very, very simple layout. It's just a big checkerboard, and you could definitely play with different shades of color, or if you want to keep it pastel and neutral, then, you know, fill in with an old pair of pajamas or whatever else you have around that's kind of soft and faded, you know, play with it. Yeah.
Oh no, it's absolutely stunning. A range of different abilities through this as well, but also a beautiful mix of color palettes as well. So we go from the very soft and gentle to the deep and moody and mysterious. Love this one.
Yeah.
So this is your Starry Night.
This is a pattern that I love because it has these sharp stars and in the sashing, but in between you get nice big squares where you can show off a nice big scale print.
Yeah.
Or I've just done a version of it where I just had solids. I took my shot cottons and put them in between. So you could do something very simple like that and just show off the stars. But what I find is that the stars being these very contrasting combinations of the shot cottons makes a wonderful, jazzy, electric kind of presentation.
And the beautiful thing with the shot cottons is that as they move, you get that flow of color through them.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is just beautiful. I was telling you earlier, wasn't I, about Inga who works with me doing all the cutting, and she spent ages with a bolt going, it's green, it's orange, it's green. Just in the sunlight, just watching the different colors. She was mesmerized. And they are, and you get that in the quilt. So this quilt gets a depth as well, which you just won't get with using a plane. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
And
also, this is one of our backing fabrics, you know, the 108-inch backing fabrics.
Got it.
So
in the
it comes in this rich purple and green lotus leaf.
In a satin weight.
It's I want to say it's mercerized. It's so silky. It's absolutely beautiful. So there is a softness to it that is absolutely exquisite. And the 108s are beautiful to use, and of course perfect for your larger quilts, but you will get extra out of it because, you know, piece it
because you got to make a pair of trousers for the cruise, right?
Well, you know, I might have made a pair of trousers out of your backing fabrics in the past.
I know.
Do you know what? There are not many people that I would make a pair of trousers like that for, and rock up in a pair of 6-inch heels. Because, and of course, because you're so lovely and tall, I don't feel like a freak being well over 6 foot in a pair of heels. So thank you for that too. Now, your melons, Kaffe.
Yeah. Well, I love this fabric. You know, these great, big, wonderful melons. It's just fantastic. Is there a close-up? There's not a close-up of that. But that, and look at that fabulous building, you know, of a half-timber building with brick. Just gorgeous.
It's yeah, I think that Philip's melons and the colors that you've put on them, the combination of you two together is just phenomenal. I mean, look at that. Just look at that. And the colors that you can pull from it as well. And then you edged it in the wisteria, which is, yeah, look at that. And there, when I put colors with this, yeah. It just that you can pick out purples, you can pick out aquas, pinks and green. It's just so full and rich and deep. It's just gorgeous.
I think it's a great kind of play on organic stripes.
Yeah. In fact, I think, so I made all year round gourds with mine. Right. Which I normally have in a brass bowl in my hallway, but it just, because of the texture of them.
Natasha,
they work beautifully.
Natasha, for Philip's Christmas card, I photoshopped his head into one of those melons.
But you loved that, right?
I hope so.
I'm sure he will see the funny side. Now this is a new colorway, isn't it, of a quilt we've seen before?
Well, I'm not sure whether I've done that exact thing of just framing a sheet of pattern. But what I loved about this was this kind of apricot soft feeling of Brandon's wonderful spotty background. I forget what it's
stream,
called.
Isn't it? Stream and magenta.
Or stream, yeah. And look at that against this gorgeous kind of, you know, cinnamon colored house.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And it's so soft, because when you look at stream, especially that one, you've got the blues and the pinks coming through it behind. And it's like, which color do you pick? But yeah, that apricot tone is just gorgeous. And then to mix it with the shot cotton around the edge.
And exactly. Just a shot of high mustard yellow and, you know, a kind of burnt orange and so forth dropped in there. That was really fun doing that, keeping it all within that same kind of level of color.
Yeah, and there are some beautiful earthy tones within those squares as well.
Yeah.
I think, is it the Roman glass that's in there that's got...
Yeah, and brassica, you know, the cabbage-like print that has this beautiful kind of burnt orange edges and so forth.
Oh, and jumble. And I'm enjoying the jumble in there as well. So it just goes to show they don't all have to be big prints to be in there. There's so much interest in the smaller designs too. Yeah. And that wall is perfect. Was that a wall that you went, I'm going to have a
I kept remembering that they had these beautiful kind of apricot colored walls and, you know, all these beautiful soft pastel walls.
Now tell me, did you ask permission this time, or did you just sort of pin it up and run?
I just did a wonderful and beginning of the book, thanking the people of Lebanon for their beautiful background, and thanking them also. I hope somebody there is listening to this, for preserving that beauty through all of these years of holding on to those wonderful old buildings and not tearing them down and building travel in,
Yeah.
some awful, motel or something, which would have happened in America. So thank you, England, for preserving your past, particularly when it's as beautiful as Lavenham.
Oh, it is absolutely stunning. And also the brickwork on the bridges and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Equally stunning.
Yeah, well, that beautiful old bridge, the old stone bridge, and that was just the town nearest to Lavenham. We went out this little country village with beautiful stream and a beautiful thing, and that was just perfect for the sort of mossy tones in the wall reflected in our quilt.
Well, look at the moss on the buttresses. It's just in that quilt, isn't it? It's just phenomenal. And I love that you've used your big florals in there as well, and mixed through with the coleus is just stunning. The leaves in the coleus are just exquisite as well. And also oh gosh, I forget which one it's called. The one that you've got edging it has got it's like a stripe of spot.
Yes, that's one of Brandon Mably's.
Yeah,
that's a beauty.
And it's
I think his designs combine so well with our painterly florals.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. And the colorways through there, because for me, Brandon, with this fabric of yours, you're getting extra value for money, because you can use it as a stripe, you can use it as a spot, you can fussy cut out the color. You've got so much color through there. It's one of those. It's a really useful one. That's a workhorse, that fabric, isn't it? A proper workhorse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Now this one I'm going to show you.
It's behind you.
Because I love this one, because it's fussy cut flowers, but let me just show you.
Oh yeah.
Ta-da!
It's just perfect.
And that one,
the design.
She has these beautiful flowers from, like, one of our classics is
the cactus
nice
flower.
Big bold flowers called cactus flower.
Yeah.
And you can see how well that cuts up in these different places,
Just stunning.
Here.
What else have we got there? We've got amaryllis in there as well. We've got melons.
We do.
What else?
This wonderful amaryllis.
Yeah. Oh, amaryllis natural. Beautiful. Yeah. Stunning.
And I love this because it's quite sharp, white and dark maroon. So it becomes another stripe story. And then this one is what I love.
Dancing dahlias. Gorgeous.
See, though, that you get many, many wonderful things to zero in on and fussy cut.
Yeah. This is another great value for money fabric, because of all of those different ones that you can pull through for a quilt like this, isn't it? You've got so many different colors.
Yeah. I love that one.
Oh yeah. Again, it's those stripes, isn't it? You're always drawing beautiful stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
then the old brassica that's been around for years. But what I love is that my company, Free Spirit, allows me to do classics. So you can think over the years, oh, there's another way I could use brassica. There's another way. But so this was picked out, just taking some of these for, these two, for instance, are from brassica. And this one down here and so forth. So, it's lovely to be able to have some of these classics that stay around for years, and you can just think about playing with those.
I think it's one of those things that I'm so grateful to you for, because otherwise you bring out so many beautiful fabrics, and then you just wouldn't want to use them because you'd be worried that you'd never be able to get it again. And what if you use it on this one, and then you see something else that you want, and you just can't do them both. So I'm incredibly grateful that for the classics, because they
and when we do block of the month, you know, when a shop does block of the month, they know that they can get all the classics.
It's really important. Oh, and your Lotus is in there too.
Yeah. This is another thing that I wanted to show you. This border, which is kind of abstract there, is actually Brandon's Octopus fabric.
So much fun.
So Brandon is my octopus teacher.
Oh, that is so right.
So that's the, but my favorite of the Octopus range is this black and white one. Look at that for a lacy, wonderful pattern.
I have seen so many shirts and dresses made out of this because it's just phenomenal. And when these came out, that was the first of the octopuses to just sell out because everybody wanted to dressmate with it.
Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah.
It looks like just big scale lace.
But I love the fact that you've got those pastel tones in there as well. So you can really pick out some gentle blues in there, some peachy tones. You've got all kinds in there. But the lipstick on the octopuses is my favorite. They've got a lovely shade of lipstick. It's like a rose colored pink.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. And what a lovely addition to those florals.
Yeah. And then the Aboriginal dot is in between on my, there's another snowball, of course.
Yeah.
And then what have we got on the back?
Hang on. How do I not have this in my life? What's that?
Big blooms. This one, I did this quite a long time ago, and it was a classic for a long time, but I think they dropped it from the range. Otherwise, you would have had it.
Look at that. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, this will make you giggle. I don't know if you've ever come across the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about that.
So I made a quilt for my daughter, a picnic blanket quilt of The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and edited it in your Aboriginals out of the rainbow. I made a rainbow out of the Aboriginal prints, the Aboriginal dots. And I was like,
great.
A couple of classics there, some classic beef and a classic book. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. We have such a beautiful, aren't there a wonderful range of colors?
Yeah.
I use those a lot. You know, for when I want a solid, but with a slight texture to it, a very subtle texture. It's just a beautiful fabric.
Looking at that quilt behind you with the octopus around the outside and the blue in between, it could be an underwater coral. It could be a coral reef.
Yeah, but the binding is...
And the binding of just the sharp little black and white is just gorgeous, I think.
It finishes it off.
It works so well with the pastel of the back and the front.
Now, you've got a bit of a black and white phase that you're sort of edging into. Yeah. But not just your shirt, Kaffe.
Well, you know, what I found is when I traveled the world giving workshops, do you remember back in those times when we could travel? My passport is so dusty. But anyway, what I find is that we found workshops. I would walk into a shop where we were going to give a workshop, and I would notice they had a good selection of big scale black and white, and I would encourage somebody in the workshop to play with those in their quilt that day. And so we had these wonderful examples of people combining big, bold black and white with color.
Yeah.
And so eventually it got through to me that this was a great thing to do. It was always my favorite quilt in the book. And so there on the back,
there it is.
You can see how we're using high contrast with florals. but anyway, it's just one of those things that I've really enjoyed getting into and playing with sharp contrast, because you know from looking at things like this, I usually do smoldering color schemes that all kind of blend together in a kind of interesting way. But doing high contrast has been very exciting.
You saw on the streets shirts with striped flowers.
Yeah, well, there's a whole series of black and white striped shirts across the world with florals on them.
Yeah.
Every different variation you can think of. I think I must have seen 1,000 variations on that pattern in fashion shops. And so it's just interesting to me to play with that idea.
In fact, there's a lovely collection in your Kaffe in the Studio book that came out. Gosh, was it last year?
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's a whole section on it, and it's really beautiful. But there you've gone with a blue and white stripe.
That's right.
It was inspired by your China as well, with that hit of floral. I just adore it. Just adore it. It's so special. What have you got lurking underneath the octopus? What's going to show there? You. Oh yeah, get those green.
Because another thing that I love is looking at the world of jade and moss and beautiful soft greens. Particularly in England, you get these beautiful mossy walls and mossy stones. And so I was trying to make a quilt that really had that quality in it.
Yeah.
And of course we found these beautiful gates covered with moss, big stone gates and big, rusty old iron gate that was perfect at the edge of Lavenham. And so, and here you can see the
melons are there again.
The melons in there and the agate.
Yeah.
And Brandon's wonderful animal, kind of a snakeskin print that Brandon's done. And wisteria is quite gorgeous. And another thing that in the very corners, just made very small, is this wonderful print of the amaryllis in kind of mossy greens.
And I love how that's echoed in the center as well. It pulls out into the corners.
Yes, there we have it.
Yeah,
that's
you've
right.
got that all through. Really, really beautiful. And you're so right. I mean, I think anyone that's driven down country lanes overhung with undergrowth that we have in the UK. I mean, gosh, that would have been one of your first trips when you first landed here, wouldn't it have been, down to the Cotswolds through those country lanes?
Yeah, and then I used to just fall in love in the summer, high summer. You would get those willow trees dripping into a pond that was all filled with kind of mossy growth and things. It's just so that everything was shades of green, the green fields and the green trees, and so that's really what I was trying to get here. I love the way the Roman glass, which is the very first pattern I ever designed for fabric design, works in here, and that's still one of our classics. So we're able to use that.
It works so well because it can be a big scale print. It can be a ditzy. It can be whatever you want it to be. That's the genius of it, absolute genius of it. And I'm so, again, I say it again, I'm so glad that the classics are there, because you cannot have enough of these.
Yeah, because there's Paperweight, which is one of our real classics. People just love Paperweight, just these little kind of glass candies that you get in those wonderful old paperweights.
But it's an amazing blender as well, because no matter what fabrics you have of yours, you will find those colors. If you've got one of the Roman glass, the Millefiores, any of those, you will find them. You'll find them in there. They're brilliant.
Yeah, I actually, right here, just want to show you. There's the inspiration for Paperweight.
Beautiful.
Aren't they gorgeous? And in Venice, they don't know how to do this anymore with the lovely pastel colors. They make paperweights. They make paperweights in yellow and black and orange. awful strong colors, that these delicate, soft, antique pastels, kind of English watercolor palette. That's what I love.
And where did those come from? Because I know you can always remember.
Well, these were Venetian, but what's interesting is they would do whole chandeliers with all of the flowers in these frosty opal-like colors. Oh my God, so beautiful. So anyway, it's nice that rolls on. And also, for a bolder version of it, in a simpler version, is Brandon's Jumble, which is just got these wonderful primitive circles.
I think the jumble with that lime is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Of the jumbles. I just love it.
Oh,
it's so zesty.
Listen, some great new colors. And he's just done one in shades of gray that is so beautiful. So for those modern quilters out there that love their kind of cool silvery grays, hold on for that. It's going to be a beautiful background.
Well, I mean, that would sit then really nicely with the paperweight checkerboard, wouldn't it? I mean, could you imagine it shot through in that? That'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. If I'd had it, I would have been using it in so many quilts if we had it. I said, sit down and do a version of Jumble that's in gray.
So
Brandon saying,
let's
look at the back. Well, this is, you can see the,
oh yeah.
What's it called?
Is that the Strata? Is that
No, it's not Strata. What is it called?
Oh no, Strata.
We're both drawing a blank.
All of us.
It's a classic.
It is.
It was a classic, so it was around for a long time.
Oh my
God.
Anyway,
we're designing for 2024 now, so we've just forgotten.
I don't know how you keep a track on any of these things.
Now, can I talk about my favorite quilt in the book?
Go on. Which is your favorite?
Right here.
Oh, Shard.
Now, that to me is just totally exquisite. I'm going to come close to the camera so you can see the wonderful patterns. I saw a quilt years ago, an old antique quilt that was just done with these tiny little triangles of fabric. And so I've been trying to do it ever since. And I think this one really worked out. To me, it's like butterfly wings or just delicate or confetti at a wedding or whatever.
It's like when the wind blows the blossom across the floor. It's just
exactly. In fact, I was talking about this on Zoom the other day, and some petals fell off our cherry tree nearby and went by the window. And I said, "Oh my God, that's just like the quilt."
Right on cue. Oh, look, you've got the octopus in there as well. What an amazing mix.
Yeah. And look at the black and white down in the corner. Brandon, go down.
Oh, yeah. Just gorgeous. And so you've got a good mix of big scale prints, but also a lot of the smaller ones too. Fab.
Yeah.
It's one that you can't tire of looking at because you see something different every time.
Exactly. And I love the shot where we found this old shabby chic building, that was kind of peeling white and gray paint and shot it against. But what I love is also the backing where we did the wisteria.
Yeah.
That beautiful gray version of the wisteria of Philip Jacobs. And up for the
onion rings.
Top, you can see the onion rings. Yeah.
Yes.
Backing fabric.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I would urge anyone that hasn't tried your backing fabrics to get them, because the feel of them is phenomenal. And dressmake with them, please dressmake with them. Yeah. They're just brilliant. Just brilliant. Hang on, what's on the front?
No, I'm not going to show you. That's coming up.
Oh,
that's almost a sneak preview of what's happening.
But this is it, because so the book, we've got the book is due out end of July, beginning of August. And that is just such a treat. And again, the photography is beautiful. What I would like to just spend a moment talking about, if that is okay with you, is the acknowledgements.
Yeah.
Because we have got, as ever, obviously, Debbie Patterson for the photography.
Yeah.
And also Liza Pryor Lucy, who has contributed. In fact, hers is that lovely mossy one over the bridge.
Yeah.
But also the makers, because, you know, anybody that's actually tried to make a quilt knows that it's not a 2-second job. And this book has got 19 quilts in it. So you've got makers across the world, haven't you, making you?
Yeah. And in my book, Fassett in the Studio, they're pictured, these wonderful makers, group of women.
We have to give a shout out to Ilaria.
Yeah.
Yes.
Padovani.
Yeah.
Julie Harvey.
Right.
Janet Haig.
Yeah.
Liza Lucy, and that's it.
Right. Yeah. So those are our great group of makers that are just fabulous. And of course, Liza is like she and I and Brandon are like the three musketeers. You know, we're constantly dreaming up projects, and all the planning and the sorting out of any particular plan is done with Liza over long distance calls and Zooms.
And I love that, you know, Liza was the lady responsible for getting you into quilting. She kept gently, I wouldn't say nag, gently persuading you that actually where you needed to be was doing the quilting. And I love that from the 80s, when that started to happen through until now, you're still working together. This is still a collaboration that works.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, there's such longevity there, which is just perfect. Perfect.
She's like a classic.
There you go, Liza. Yeah. You are a classic, an absolute
absolutely.
I tell you who.
Now listen, just before we wind up, shall I talk to you about what's coming up next?
Yes. All the quilts will be at the Festival of Quilts.
Oh yes, all the quilts will be at the Festival of Quilts.
They will be.
You'll be doing a lunchtime lecture. Inshallah. A lunchtime lecture on the Saturday.
Right.
Is
be
that
there or be square?
Right.
So you got that. Now, I just want to talk to you about, I have this wonderful vase that is just beautiful, delicate colors with a little background of small flowers. And so I did this print.
Oh, nice.
Using that kind of palette and kind of primitive flowers. But my favorite version of it, of course, is the black and white dancing on the tabletops version.
Now, this is stunning. And your new fabric that hits, well, I think it's being shipped August to be in the shops for September. If, you know, if stuff goes according to time, who knows, this year. There's a lot of black and white, isn't there, in this latest collection? Yeah, there is. That would make an amazing dress, by the way.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
You wear it well,
let me show you what would make a fantastic pair of bell bottoms for Madam to wear on the cruise.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yes. Is that a Brandon by any chance?
No, that's a Kaffe.
It should have been me.
It should have been a Brandon. You know, sometimes we influence each other. Let's put it that way.
Well, but, I mean, it's going to happen, right? That's fun. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be
I love this idea.
Yeah.
And it comes in lots of different colorways. One with a white background, one with a red background, one with a blue background. It's just amazing. It's really fun.
A maxi dress out of that for sure.
I think so. I think it would suit you.
Is that going to be a backing fabric as well? Please.
A backing fabric?
Yeah.
I don't know. It may be one day. You never know.
I'm putting in the request, right? That's my request there.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, what have you found? I love this. What have you found? What have you found now?
Well, I just was looking at our backing fabrics. This is, you know, the old Millie Fury
Yeah,
blown up big. Look at the wonderful, how it takes to that scale.
it's
And
just
this
stunning.
on pastel flower quilts and things is just wonderful.
We also have your lotus leaf as well in those burnt orange tones for backing fabrics as well, which is
Yeah.
just beautiful too, and has such an earthy vibe to it. It's just
Well, here's the sort of purple and green one, which
oh, yeah, I like that one too.
yeah, and it's so silky, isn't it? This fabric.
That's why you know, quilters, yes, dressmakers as well. Dressmakers beware, you will absolutely adore working with this.
Yeah,
It is stunning.
I love big scale, don't you?
Yeah, and they're my cushions on my sofa, actually, just those ones there. I just love them. I just love them. Oh, they're fab. And Kaffe, you know who we haven't thanked as well, who we've missed
What's
off?
that?
Bundle.
Yes, Bundle is the quiet power behind the throne. She works away in the office. She's a details person, so she will often remind me, you've done everything except for this little detail, which is going to, be very important. And so, she keeps us on the straight and narrow for sure.
I mean, this is it. So Bundle isn't there today, is she? She's gone to see family in Wales. So you two are let loose on your own. I don't know what she's going to come back to.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for talking us through your book. There is so much more in there. We've scratched the surface, but there is a lot more underneath to go through. Brandon, have we missed anything, Brandon?
Yes, most importantly, featured in the book is the birthplace of Harry Potter.
Oh,
which is huge.
Yeah, they used the main building in the town.
The main town hall.
What they used for his birthplace.
Oh, hang on, I'll show you the picture.
Which one is it? Which one?
It's
yes,
this one.
Yeah.
And this is where Harry Potter was born, and it's in one of the movies.
No way.
You can see a nice big wide shot we did of that.
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't know where Lavenham is, it's in Suffolk.
Yeah.
In the county of Suffolk. And it has the most marvelous tea shops.
Oh yeah.
So go indulge.
Worth going just for a wonderful cream tea.
And to take in the architecture.
The town is a museum in itself. The whole town.
Yeah.
It's
and anybody that's read Pillars of the Earth, then they need to go and see the cathedral that's by the town. It's magnificent.
Is that the cathedral from Pillars of the Earth?
Yeah.
No, well,
one of them.
No, it's what,
because it was all based around that area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just it's a hotbed of history, isn't it? All around there. Just phenomenal. Oh, well, thank you so much. Do you, this is a silly question, do you know where the next book is number 24 is gonna be?
We do, but we're not saying.
Oh,
we have a wonderful location. It is a intimate little gorgeous building, stuffed full of the most beautiful antiques and wall paintings and tapestries and so forth. And so we're going to have a ball.
And it's grand.
Yeah, it's very, very grand, gorgeous.
Is it in this country?
In this country?
Yeah, well, in Great Britain.
Amazing. Okay. I'm very, very curious now.
Yeah.
So, okay. I love that because of course you're always planning so far ahead. This is the thing.
It will be a destination place and a place worth visiting.
Yes, definitely.
Well, they'll have to have an exhibition of Kaffe then, wherever it is.
They're going to.
That's in the talk.
In the works.
Brilliant. Well, this is just fabulous. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. And how nice that we will be able to actually see you at I call it Festival of Kaffe, Festival of Quilts. Why not have your
Festival of
festival?
Faith yet.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It's fine. And I look forward to seeing you there. It's not long now.
So Tash, are you going to be at the Festival of Quilts?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the viewers need to come look for you as well as us.
Well, I'm going to be annoying you guys. I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for a bit.
Good.
And yeah, we've got a few little things up our sleeves. So I'm not sure how much we're allowed to say until it's all been written off and okayed. But
Okay.
yeah, we've got plans. Let's just say that. But thank you so much. I will see you very, very soon. And,
All right, Don.
And give all of our wonderful viewers a wave, because you know they just adore. Keep doing what you do, because we all love it. We all love it. What are you wearing? What have you? Has he got his turban on?
I'm having a bad hair day. This is my cleaning lady. All
Oh,
right.
you bonkers.
Ciao.
Stay like it. Take care. Stay safe.
Okay, bye,
Thank
darling.
you so much.